Okay, it's that time of the week again. Market overview, market open. And as we usually do, we'll start off with the dollar. So straight into it. So from last week, what we was looking at was price coming down into this area and then shifting off, breaking structure and potentially coming back and then continuing to shift up towards this area of 106. So we got that. We got the price moving from the daily, shifting away the breaker structure, and then naturally we for this week I'll be expecting price to kind of start shifting up. So last week was a bit just iffy. It did what we wanted it to do, but it didn't really make that deep pullback. So this week maybe we might get that deep pullback, and then the following week get a push up, or vice versa, where price can actually just keep on shifting up from here. So one of those two things will be happening. But as we already know from the dollar, we're expecting it to shift up from the kind of perspective of price already tapping in this daily, hitting a weekly kind of area, and then breaking a structure just above here. So with the daily, you can see price is already kind of engulfed, hit this demand, rejected it on Friday, and then today, as you can see, kind of rejecting it today as well. So moving into this week, I could potentially just see price just shifting up and no pullback is needed to this deeper level. So that's on a daily what we can see. And actually, like I said, from there, we're aiming at 106, 107 areas to actually get into here long term in the next couple of weeks or month or so. And then we'll see exactly what price will do from that area. So from the dollar, we understand that perspective, which naturally means from Euro USD, GBP USD, AD USD, things like that, we expect it to naturally drop and make that similar kind of move just for a pullback. Okay, so we can see that with the Euro USD, we can see that with GBP USD, also the same thing. We got very close to this weekly supply level that I wanted, but didn't quite get it. And then you can see prices now shifting away from that. So again, similar to the dollar, where I said potentially price could still come back lower before going higher again. We can see that with potentially not so much Euro USD. I'm looking at more kind of GBP USD for this because we kind of made these kind of highs through here, these equal highs, if I touching a weekly. So I'm curious to see what might happen with that, and then see if we can actually make a high of the week on a Tuesday because we already know what that tends to mean. And again, just a reminder of how we expect the week to go for most weeks. So again, on a Sunday, we again watch market points of interest gaps. You don't really want to be looking at market on a Sunday anyway. Monday, we tend to retrace, let's rebalance the previous week's price action. But obviously, we had NFP on Friday, and then in the UK now is the bank holiday. So things are slightly different in regards to this. And then Tuesday, we should see a high or low of the week. And then moving into Wednesday, we should see a midweek reversal, especially if the Tuesday objective has not been met. And then Thursday, we want to push into our point of interest slash gaps or points of interest, whatever it is. And then Friday, we should see about a 20 to 30% retracement on all of that pricing. And again, I've shown you the weekly cycles. I've spoke about this so many times, but again, it's something similar to this or something similar to this is what you tend to see throughout the week. So when we're looking at that on the charts, again, you can see a higher of the week happen on a Tuesday, and then boom, price starts cycling down from there. So we see these in various kind of ways. Sometimes Tuesdays doesn't actually have to happen because Mondays already set the tone for the week, but we tend to see Tuesdays being the tone for the week. So again, with today being a bank holiday in the UK, that's why I'm not stressed. I haven't really been trading today. I mean, not gonna lie, in our gold group, we did catch a couple of trades from here today. So yeah, it was good. It was good. I'm not gonna lie. So yeah, we'll come back to that in a sec anyway. But yeah, so we understand what should be happening potentially for this week. If the dollar's going up, naturally, what do we expect? We expect things like Euro USD, AD USD, GBP USD, gold. Take that with a pinch of salt to do also the same thing, but gold is its own anomaly, so we don't really include it in that kind of counterweight, right? So that's what we're expecting for this week in regards to the dollar. And again, like I said, the Euro USD, GBP USD, AD USD, things like that should be dropping. USD JPY should be also following suit with the dollar and following it to go up. So let's actually take a look at what's been happening. Let's start off with gold. Again, gold again just keeps on making new all-time highs. It keeps on going higher and higher, getting more and more expensive. Okay, so there's nothing to look at to the left because this is literally the highest it's ever been. Okay, so for this week, just like last week, I was thinking surely there has to be a pullback closer to these kind of areas soon enough, like sell side liquidity, pullbacks into demand areas, all these kind of things, right? So let's go into the intraday time frame. Okay, let's actually go into the 4 hour firstly. So when we're looking at the 4 hour, again, last week we was in and around these areas and I was like, yeah, surely it should just come down, take out these kind of lows or mitigate or something, right? So okay, it started coming down and then from there it just kind of floated around these kind of prices at 311, 60. So these kind of prices were just kind of in this range, just happening up and down, up and down, up and down. So this week, again, what I like to see. Similar to last week where I was saying, can we get potential price shifting up towards, let me just zoom into this. Can we get a price potentially shifting up into the 340 areas, 360s, and then actually drop? But again, as you can see, prices just been in and around these areas, just kind of chilling. So when I was looking at this on, I believe, what was it, a 15 or 5? So this was on a 5. Okay, so when I was looking at it last week in around these areas, I mean, we did get some sales off from here, which is nice. Okay, that was a very, very nice sell. Okay, price came down a lot, but I expected more from it where I was like, cool, just clean out this area, come back up and then do the same thing again. But since then, it's just been stuck in this range, like just literally going sideways in and around these areas. It come lower here, okay, on Thursday, and then as you can see, Friday was back up, and then today price is back up towards zero. So we're just floating around this range from like 354 till 3202. So yeah, I'm seeing price potentially, and I'm wanting it to potentially still come slightly higher. Okay, maybe clean out these equal highs in here. Okay, maybe fill out these gaps in here and then drop. Okay, that's what I like to see. So again, if we could get the weekly cycle for this on a Tuesday, where we see our high of the week, and then for the rest of the week, start cleaning out all of these areas that need to be cleaned out or mitigated. That's what I would love to see. So yeah, let's just stretch out this 5 minute because that was my point of interest from last week where I was thinking surely he has to come and mitigate this at least. So yeah, I'm just looking at this thinking, can we get that? Again, these lows are kind of just hanging out as well. Okay, so you can see this low from here to here to here. Okay, just kind of hanging out as well. So I'm looking at this thinking, can we just clean out all of this? Okay, so again, we have to wait to see what's going to happen tomorrow in London, and then once we could get that, then we'll understand exactly what we're working with. But today we're just being in buys. Um, if you're not in a gold trading community group, then yeah, you might have not seen this, but yeah, let me actually show you. So again, we was literally calling that buys even earlier on, not earlier on. Literally, just I'm making this video at 9:16 right now, and yeah, we caught some buys earlier on around 8:30. So yeah, managed to catch 170 pips from that. Yeah, if you're not in this, I'll put the link in the bio so you can join my free channel because I send out some trades in here as well. Okay, you could join the free channel, and then in there you can actually see some trades that I'll send out. And then this is the main group if you actually wanted to join. And then instructions of how to join is obviously in here where you can see exactly how to do that also. So in the God community, we actually got some buys. So this one was just based off just simple logic. Okay, just simple logic where okay, I'm in a 1 minute right now. So we had this as a threatening point of breaker structures. So again, this is the latest point that pushed price down to break this structure. So naturally, we understood that if price stays under that, we should keep on going down. If it goes on top, then that's a violation and breaker structure, right? So again, boom, we tip it here with just the wick. Okay, and I like the bodies to close higher than those points rather than the wicks because if we literally go into a line chart, it's like it never happened, right? So that's why I like the bodies to close above, which is why you can see I was more interested in this one. Why? Okay, price didn't really break that area. It was this one that did it, right? So when you put it back as the candles, okay, we can see all of this. Yeah, that's all cool, but this is what really did it. And then this was the entry. Okay, this was off that demand area. Okay, it was like 11 pip stop. So our 10 to 1 actually is 110 pips. But as you can see, again, it went 170, I think we called it for. Okay, so yeah, not a bad trade at all, right? So yeah, even more 200. So you can see that was called at 8:30 earlier on in this channel. Okay, so yeah, it's just yeah, little things like that that makes the biggest difference. And then again, just like that at 8:30, you're catching trades. I mean, I don't really like to trade past London close or anything, especially on a bank holiday, but when an opportunity like that presents itself, you just take it, right? So that's literally what happened. Okay, so yeah, heading into again Asia session. Okay, I'm not interested in looking at any trades again for day. I am, however, like I said previously, looking for pullbacks or price just to finally start making moves towards these kind of areas in here. Okay, that's what I'm finally looking for again. Can we get that this week? Who knows? Because prices keeps on making new all-time highs like every week. So at least we should pull back to take out all of these, maybe rebalance it in around here somewhere, and then shift off again if we're gonna make new highs. So that's what I'll at least like to look at. Okay, so yeah, price just wants to keep on going higher and higher and higher. So let's just see exactly what can happen. Okay, if it wants to make another new all-time high again this week. Okay, because the previous weeks keeps on wanting to go higher. So I'm just curious to see what's going to happen if we can actually get price coming back down to balance, and then if it wants to make a new all-time high again, taking out this high, then yeah, we'll see. Which is at 350. Damn, that's nice. That's a nice quarter point right there. If you don't know about quarter points, Okay, one of my old charts that I used to look at. So again, is it this one or this one? I think it's this one. I'm gonna have to go to the daily for this, right? I don't think it's even this chart. No, it's not this one. Is it this one? Yeah. Okay. So I haven't even got normal quarter points about here. But anyway, so again, you can see all these numbers. Okay, you got half. Wait, is it even this one? This looks weird. Weird. Why is it? It's telling me 260. That should have been 260. Okay, actually, yeah, that is right. Okay, but why is 260 there? That's weird. It should just be going up in fives. Okay, cool. So yeah, as you can see, we've got 1900, 1950, 2000, yeah, all the way to 245, 255, 260, and then yeah, 270, all this kind of stuff should be in there. Okay, so that does make sense. And yeah, I haven't drawn these for a long time, but I remember from 2021, 2022, I was doing these all the time. And you can see price respects it very, very nicely. Okay, which is why when I just showed you the other chart where I said 350, very interesting, is because that's literally a quarter point and a whole number. Okay, so let me go back to this chart. Okay, so when we're looking at that, when I said it stops where? 350, look at that. Okay, 350. That's a very nice whole round number. Okay, so that's why I said very interesting and why it stopped right there. Now you've got more context in regards to that. So yeah, for this week, I'm just thinking, can we get some balancing happening in around here and then shift off again? Okay, to finally start challenging these highs. So in an ideal world, this is something I like to see, something similar to this. Okay, let's just say price came down. Okay, did its little shuffle, giving us a signature move, break a structure, comes down into here, and then shifts up towards these kind of areas. Okay, so in the ideal world, that's what I like to see. Okay, if we get that or not, that's a whole different story, but that's what I like to see at least. So yeah, okay, something like that, and then obviously gives us our kind of signature move where we get something like that happening, and that's literally that. So that's the signature move. If we can actually drop down into these areas to rebalance, because this is a nice demand area. Okay, this candle here, the gap in here, the FVG, IPA, whatever you want to call it, but this demand in here is what's got my attention. Okay, if we can get that somehow moving back towards that area, I'll be very, very much interested in a buy from this kind of area to shift up and then start looking to either make a new high or again just do a signature move and then actually come down. But yeah, I think it might challenge the high once more. Okay, as our buy side liquidity. So for gold, if I'm looking at that, that's what I'm kind of thinking. Okay, just like that. So buy side liquidity and then price doing that and challenging it. And then again, like I said, from there we can potentially get our signature move again. Okay, so boom, 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 signature move, and then we come down to start clapping all of these. Okay, so boom. So that's something I would like to see personally. Okay, if we are gonna make the move higher, that's something I'd like to see personally, and then we can start targeting our lower points of interest and all that kind of stuff in there. So yeah, it's just a waiting game now. So again, it's just about understanding what the market flow is, understanding what should happen, and if you are gonna get that kind of move, what is the target and what's the objective of that move happening. So yeah, that's something I'll be looking at for gold. So we see exactly how that does play out this week, and then we can actually shift from there. But right now we're making new highs. But yeah, definitely if we could get the balance right this week, then this is definitely something I like to see for gold. Okay, so hopefully that makes sense. Let's shift into Bitcoin. Bitcoin just being again similar to gold, just ranging in specific areas. But last week we was not last week, the week before was ranging in this area, and I said this buy side liquidity is definitely going to be a target to be taken. So last week, what did it do? It takes it, okay, and then now what I was waiting for since Friday, seeing if we can actually clean out this area, which will do what? Clean out sell side liquidity and on top of that, a breaker structure. So that's what I was looking at and thinking, can we get that? Okay, so right now it's just going to be more liquidity sell side, okay, until we do break and then we can actually call it, okay, our breaker structure, okay, which I just put as a light bulb. And then if we do get our breaker structure, I see a nice selling opportunity in here. It's the only one so far in this 1 hour. And then can we come lower to balance out, similar like gold? Okay, so right now, I'm not looking at anything specific for it, but if we do break this, gives us a breaker structure, then I'll be very, very much interested in taking sales just like gold also. So yeah, this is looking like a nice balancing act. We're really basically taking that buy side liquidity. It's just waiting for that breaker structure now. Again, referring to the signature picture, boom, take out buy side liquidity or breaker structure. Then we just wait for the breaker structure on the bottom side, pull back, get the entry, and then away we go. So that's literally what I'm looking at here. Okay, high's been taken. Can we now get the break structure down here, taking out these two equal lows, three equal lows, and then pull back, give us a trade, and then start dropping to balance out all of this. Okay, so Bitcoin, very, very straightforward, very, very dodgy price action for the last week or so, just very stagnant. And then obviously on Friday, oh, sorry, this is today. Wait, what the hell? Why is this confusing me? Are you sure this is today? This is today's price action. 3 o'clock in the morning. All right, makes sense. My indicator thing is just lagging. Okay, boom. And then, yeah, that's today's price action, just doing its thing. Not much more to say about that. Like I said, similar to gold, US 30. There's various trades in here last week that we took or slightly missed. But again, similar to a lot of the pairs. Okay, I'm just looking for some kind of rebalancing act. But with this one, however, okay, with this one, however, my first rebalancing act will be here. Can we fill this IPA FVG area? Okay, that's the first area that I'll be looking at to see can we shift up into that area for tomorrow and then see if we can actually drop. So let me look at this on a 4 hour. On a 4 hour, this makes more sense and gives better context. So since we made this move, boom, broke these lows. Okay, very, very big aggressive move to the downside. This is only now just balancing. Okay, when did this even happen? This happened on literally the start of last month. So there's been a whole month since that move happened. Boom. Okay, and then only a month later now is finally about to balance out. So I'm curious about that. We've also got trend line build-ups over here. Okay, you could put it like that. I mean, yeah, either way, this is just a trend line build-up in this area. So I'm curious to see what happens if we do come into this area and then we start making new structure waves. That'll be very, very interesting to see. Okay, so this has definitely got my interest in this area because it lines up with a big FVG area plus it's a nice supply area on a 4 hour as well. So let me just mark this as a nice supply area on a 4 hour. Actually, I'll leave that. Label it as what time frame was it? H1. Okay, and then also do this. Okay, so I know both of them are coincided with each other. Okay, and then that's the H4 supply in there. Okay, so I know both of them are coincided with each other. Perfect. Okay, so yeah, that'll be the play, seeing if we can actually come up into there and what might happen, what kind of reaction we might get. I mean, buy side is still up there, but at this point now, especially with Trump doing whatever he's doing, I'm just thinking, can this drop even further? Okay, because we still got balancing to do through here. Okay, still got balancing to do through there. It makes a lot of sense to me. So we'll just patiently wait to see. Okay, and you can see where our extensions line up with very, very nicely. Okay, even 62 lines up nicely with this low. So yeah, that's looking very enticing. So it's just a waiting game now. Okay, like I did say, is it was bank holiday today, so things wouldn't be moving as drastically, even though this is a kind of US kind of thing, and there's bank holiday in the UK. So I'm still curious to see what might happen when we get up into here, and then can we get big sell-offs again to start coming down towards these areas. So that's just a waiting game one for now. And NAS 100 should be roughly about the same. Okay, we already got divergence with that. No breaker structure to the downside, however. Let me just take a step back onto the daily and then 4 hour, and then let me actually get a better picture of that as well. Okay, yeah, very, very similar. Okay, we're just literally in this area already, whereas US 30 still needs to get into there. And then similar before, I remember that I was on holiday. This is literally my birthday in around this time. I remember when this move happened. Okay, February the 14th, I actually arrived in Bali on the 15th or was it 16th, one of those days. But yeah, I remember that. And then boom, that happens. So yeah, crazy, crazy move. And then we've just been balancing out since then. So yeah, there's still scope for this to definitely go higher. But I'm just curious to see what might happen in around here to give us pullbacks. Let me go into the 4 hour. Okay, to give us pullbacks back towards these kind of areas first and then shift up. But again, this demand candle was ridiculously massive. Okay, boom. Okay, and then price starts shifting up. So we have to tackle this area first before anything actually happens. So that's what I'm curious about to see how price does actually play it in there and then see if it does break this and then if we're going to rebalance around these zones. But if not, this demand was significant in price doing what it's doing now. So we have to tackle this area first and then we'll know exactly what's going on from there. But again, with NAS, it's pointing more towards like it wants to go towards these areas here. That's what I'm saying. This area is going to be significant. Whereas with US 30, it's kind of stagnating right now, just above, or sorry, just below this H4 supply, which I like a lot. So out of the two, I definitely prefer this. Let me put my red marker for sell. and gold also was thinking about sells in there. So yeah, Nas not looking at a cleaner one out of the two right now, so I'm just going to personally leave it. US 30 has definitely got more of my interest right now as we speak. Okay, so GBP USD, like I mentioned, we expect the dollar to be going up. So naturally, we expect GBP USD to be going down. So when we're looking at this, similar to US 30, we got quite close to a weekly supply, but we didn't quite touch it. And then price started cycling down from there. We haven't quite broken the structure, okay, through here that actually created this high. So right now, as we speak, we're still bullish. Okay, there's still very, very good chance that price can still make it up in here. Okay, so we're still very bullish. Yeah, this is the start of it. It hasn't broken that yet. So again, this will be another one where we just have to wait for London tomorrow to say, cool, what's actually happening, and then see if we can actually get that trade to take it higher. Okay, and then if not, if we do break this low, then obviously you know what to do in London tomorrow. We're gonna start looking to short it. Okay, so this is a very interesting pivotal point right now. Again, the pullbacks are definitely imminent. If not there, then at least taking out these lows or something. But I'm just patiently waiting for London price action to see exactly what's happening from where we are now to taking out these or even rebalancing. We've got 400 plus pips, so that's very good. To come up into here, we've got 200 pips. Either way is a win-win situation. If we could buy up into here and then sell all the way down here, absolutely beautiful. So again, like I said, it's just about a waiting game for London right now to see exactly what we might get in here, and then see if we can actually either buy up to the weekly or if we start selling straight away down towards these areas. One of those two things have to happen. Okay, and either way, we're in a win-win situation, right? So not much more to say about that right now. And then Euro USD, similar situation. Last week, I was looking at price coming up into this kind of H1 because we already got liquidity taken out from here. We got to break a structure, and then we just never got that pullback into this area here. So that's what I was waiting for last week. It didn't quite come. So I'm still again very lines up with what I just said about GBP USD, right? So again, we've got a slight gap in here, and then we've got this up candle, supply candle in here after the break. If we even use something like our fib, okay, to this lowest point through here again. I can't make this stuff up, man. You can't really make this stuff up. Look how perfect that is. Yeah, that's crazy. Sometimes the charts still amaze me sometimes how everything lines up. But yeah, that's just the geek in me, I guess. But yeah, that's absolutely crazy, man. It's almost too perfect. All right, cool. So yeah, hopefully similar to what I said about GBP USD, hopefully we kind of get some push-ups into these kind of areas. As we know, Euro USD doesn't hold as much weight or as much value as GBP USD. But either way, okay, we're still getting from here about the same as GBP USD, which will be about 200 plus pips. So if we can get a buy in here tomorrow or something gives to buy up into here, great. And then, like I said, from there, similar to GBP USD, because we expect the dollar to be going higher. So we want this to come lower, right? So can we then start cycling down towards these areas, which should be about 500 pips also. So let's just say we did sell from here. Okay, about 500 pips in there. If we start selling down from here, then obviously about 350, 400 pips to come down into here and then cycle. But again, like I said, we've got a lot of balancing to do around these areas. But for now, the main thing is just this demand that caused this big move in the first place. We've got this FVG IPA area to fulfill. So yeah, one of these two moves. Okay, the ideal situation for us this week, if it was up to us, okay, would be again we do our signature move, come up into here, boom, 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 tap into that, break structure, boom, and then balance out through here. Okay, and then yeah, I mean, who knows what can happen here? We can maybe fulfill this, do a signature move once more, and then reverse, or just literally break it and come towards these areas. One of those things. But for now, I just put it in line with this in here, mainly the FVG on what's this time frame? 4 hour. Okay, so let's just do IP FVG and then a 4 hour. Okay, so H4 and then capitals. Okay, so that's basically what in an ideal world we'd like to see. Okay, so we'll wait for tomorrow London session to see exactly what happens, how it happens, and then yeah, in the ideal world, like I said, we'll get this kind of move happening in here. Okay, so yeah, now it's just a waiting game. Okay, just a waiting game. So yeah, we'll see what we can actually get with that. But yeah, out of the two, I think both of them are similar to be honest. But I like it causes for good divergence. So the divergence would be that Euro USD does not make a new high. Okay, but GBP USD makes a new high. So that's good divergence. Okay, so we're seeing that. Okay, you're seeing the good divergence between that, so that's healthy. That's something you like to see. So yeah, out of the two right now, I definitely prefer EURUSD because it already made its high and then broke structure. Okay, so I'm definitely preferring that. And then on top of that, we've created nice equal lows through here. Okay, we created what the hell just happened? Okay, we created nice equal lows through here, so I'm liking that also. So if we're looking at, let me just delete these lines. If we're looking at the picture, okay, of my signature move. Again, we had highs. Did it get taken out? Yes. So we go back to the chart. High, did it get taken out? Yes. Okay, did we have a previous low that got taken out? Break a structure? Yes, we got that. Okay, this was the phantom wick, but then we got it with the bodies also. So did we get a breaker structure just like the picture? Okay, yes, we did. Got the breaker structure. Did we create some equal lows or something? I mean, this is not necessary, but if it does create that, then I mean, even better. So did we get lows? Yes, we got equal lows through there as well. Okay, so now what we're waiting for is just a pullback into the origin of what started this thing in the first place, right? Just a slight picture. Okay, this is what started it in the first place. So now we're waiting for the tap in, and then can we start cycling down? So now that's all we're waiting for. So again, when I show these pictures and I show the way I trade or whatever else, it's just the same thing that's happening over and over again. It's just down to you to spot the patterns. That's literally it. Okay, and look when I drew this picture, okay, in May 2020. So literally 5 years ago. Okay, and we're still seeing the same things happening to this day. Okay. The same things are still happening to this day. It's just about spotting it on the right time frame at the right time and then understanding what's actually going on to then utilize that in your trading. Okay. That's literally the hardest thing about trading, understanding what stage is at and then utilizing that information to then take the trade to go into the right direction. That's literally it. Okay. Once you understand that, it's just the next the next thing you have to learn is just your patience to actually take the right trade. Okay, you either some people enter too early, enter too late, don't manage their trade right, come out too early at the trades. Like there's so many different things that people do wrong to manage their trades that doesn't allow you to be as successful as a trader or as big as of a trader as you want to be. Okay, just the little tiny things. Okay, so AUD I don't really like. I'm just gonna leave. Um, yeah, I remember this came from the daily, and just since then, it's just in his zones. Yeah, I'm not gonna look at it. I'm just gonna leave it for now. GBP USD nicely coming down into this area for a rebound. Okay, we're looking at the 4 hour right now. After we came off this daily demand, we already knew this was gonna happen. Okay, so this is gonna be interesting this week. Okay, H4. Actually, let me do a H4 demand. Okay, this is gonna be interesting this week because we've already broken structure to the high side. We're now making our pullback into our demand areas. So wrong tool. So can we get okay, this H4 supply, I'm not sure when I drew this, but this is that target. So you know what, just remove this. We don't need this. Right now, if we're looking at this subjectively, okay, I like to see something like this. Okay, and then we're targeting firstly this high, then this high, then this high, and then we're coming into H4. Okay, in an ideal world, that's what makes the most sense. Okay, and if you trade GJ, you know this is gonna be a monster move. Okay, from here to here, okay, 670 pips. So yeah, if we get that, we're in business. 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 I'm liking that. Just I just don't like the way it's came out of Asia session range though. Got this low below. All right, cool. This is gonna be one. I'll be curious to see exactly how this plays out in London. But if we could get something like that, then that'll be sweet. Okay, that'll be absolutely sweet. So let's see exactly how that does play out. And then that could be a very, very nice one for us for the week. Okay, so that's that. USD JPY, like I said, should follow suit with the dollar. Okay, so right now, with like I said, for the dollar, we expect it to cycle up. So the USD JPY should follow suit. Okay, so again, we can see how that's following suit. And then we had this target at H4, okay, that we want to reach up to. We've got the internal liquidity in there. Okay, if you're not sure what internal liquidity is, okay, it's just the internal high leading to the next high. So these are internal highs, and then yeah, you want to take out that. So we've got internal liquidity through there just to tap into mitigate this H4 supply. So that's what we'll have to see. So last week was hoping that price would come down into this H1 and then give us this move. It didn't quite come low, but this week we could potentially see that. Okay, so when we're looking at this, similar to GJ, again, another Asia session range that caused this. Okay, boom, there's some news, I believe, in there. And then yeah, in the Asia session, boom, it made that move and it's going to rebalance potentially in here. But I still want this move because when I'm looking at this even, I'm seeing a lot of trend line bastards in here. Okay, so trend line traders, and then you got smart money traps in there as well. So I think this is going to be a SMT. Oops, wrong thing. I think this is going to be a SMT personally. Okay, but we'll keep a watch out for it. So SMT leading into trendline trap, and then this is the true move. It comes out Asia, leaves the gap, and then this. So I think this is a true move in here personally. That's what I'll prefer anyway, because this is looking like a SMT, this is looking like a trendline trap. Skip that. That's not anything that we care about. And then in here, we've got everything we care about. Comes out of Asia, boom, does this, breaks the high, but it just never comes back to that H1. So this is making the most sense to me. So nice buy opportunity in there. Okay, if we're literally, this is literally on a 1 hour right now, so we can definitely narrow this down. But what are we working with for stop loss? Yeah, 60 pips plus. Yeah, we could definitely narrow that down, but we don't even need that. We just need this. Okay, right now that's working about 40 pips. So we could definitely narrow that down, but and then our 10 to 1 would be here based off the 40 pips, but I'll see exactly how things play out tomorrow. Okay, let's just make that a 10 to 1 at 40 pips right now, and then this would be 400 pips at 10 to 1. So let's do that. And then naturally, I'll like it just to take out that high. Okay, which would give us about, let's just make it 540. So another 100 pips plus. Okay, so where is it? 540. Okay, so that's looking like the lick right now. That is looking like the lick right now. And then obviously we can head higher into that H4. So yeah, those are the main pairs right now. Gold, US 30, Euro USD, and UJ that I'm liking for this week. Everything else, obviously, we can actually find trades for. But these are the four main pairs that I'm seeing good structure and good entry potentials with them. Okay, so yeah, those are the main ones right now I'm looking at for this week. So yeah, that's all I'm going to look at for now. I mean, I didn't look at oil, but oil is all over the place right now, so I'm not going to look at it. But those are the four main trades that I'm going to be keeping a watch on for this week right now. Okay, and like I said, also in our golds group, I'll put a Telegram channel in here, which will be my free channel firstly. And then obviously if you do want to join this, then obviously you just follow the steps on the channel and then you'll get accepted into this channel, which is now got, yeah, we just do a refresh of this because yeah, we need to refresh the group every now and often. So yeah, I'll put a link for that in there anyway. But yeah, hopefully you guys enjoyed that. Until next time, peace out.